always get what they want. Julius Lester calls this story, Brer Rabbit Saves Brer Wolf. Maybe. Well, it was a beautiful fall day, just like some of the ones we had last week, not today. And Brer Rabbit decided he was going to take a walk, so he got dressed, he put on his red and black flannel shirt, he put on his bib overalls, connected one of the hooks and had the other one kind of hanging, because that was kind of country cool. And Brer Rabbit is always about being country cool. Country cool. And he put on his big program shoes, because Brer Rabbit got some big feet, you know, real big feet. Put on his straw hat with his ears sticking up through the hat, and he put his knapsack on his back, and he went on out the door. It was a beautiful day. As I said, Brer Rabbit moving on down the road, a song came to his heart. He said, I'm moving down this track with a sack on my back, gonna make it through these woods if I can, if I can. Say it with me now. Well, I'm moving down this track with a sack on my back, gonna make it through these woods if I can, if I can. So he's moving on down the road, joy in his heart. No trouble to be seen. Oh, Brer Rabbit was doing well. All of a sudden, he heard a noise. It said, help me please, somebody, Lordy, help me please. Brer Rabbit stopped, his ears went up. He said, what's that? And the sound came again. Help me please, Lordy, somebody help me please. Oh, Brer Rabbit said, where is that noise coming from? Who is that? Where's that noise coming from? And down in the gully came another sound. It's me. I'm down here. Come on down and help me. Well, Brer Rabbit crawled to the edge of the road, looked down in that gully, and what do you think he saw? He saw Brer Wolf. Brer Wolf was laying down in the gully with a great big old rock on him, about to mash all the air. But didn't mash all the air. Now that he had enough air to say, help me please, Lordy, somebody help me please. Now, Brer Rabbit thought about this for a moment. He said, should I help Brer Wolf? That'd be real neighborly to help Brer Wolf, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. But he said, okay. So he slid on down to the gully. He got there and he said, Brer Wolf, how you doing today? Well, Brer Wolf must have thought this rabbit was crazy. I got a block laying on me, mashing my hair out me. But he was nice to Brer Rabbit. He said, morning, Rabbit. How you doing? Could you just help me get this off me? So Brer Rabbit thought for that for a moment, because you know, Brer Rabbit and Brer Wolf have not always been the best of friends. And truth be told, don't you remember some of those stories where Brer Rabbit tricked Brer Wolf? Yeah, I remember those stories too. So, but you know, he had a good nature, Brer Rabbit did. He said, I'm going to help Brer Wolf just this one time. I'm going to help him. So he started to push and push. Oh, that rock wasn't moving. He put his little arms out and tried to pull it. Now, you know Brer Rabbit couldn't pull that rock off Brer Wolf. And Brer Wolf, he was wheezing, help me, Brer Rabbit. Brer Rabbit was getting a little annoyed because he was doing the best he could. Well, little Rabbit, he looked over and he got a stick. And some kind of way he positioned that huge stick under that boulder and between Brer Wolf, and he some kind of way that rock rolled off of Brer Wolf. Well, Brer Wolf jumped up, shook himself off, started patting his arms and his legs, and he realized something. He wasn't bad off as he thought he was. And as soon as he thought about that, he thought about all the times Brer Rabbit had tricked him. And you know what he did? He reached out and he grabbed Brer Rabbit by the back of his neck. And he reached out and caught him in the seat of his pants and held him up and was shaking him. Ooh, Brer Rabbit said, let me go, Brer Wolf, let me go. He said, no, let me go. You gonna eat me after I saved you? After I done saved you? You ought to be thanking me. Brer Wolf said, I thank you now, I'm gonna eat you later. He said, hold on, Brer Wolf. You know what? You ought to let all that dirt go. All let that be bygones, because you know what? Where I come from, it's against the law to eat somebody that's done saved you. And I know it's against the law here too. Well, Brer Wolf put Brer Rabbit down. Brer Wolf said, I don't know about that, Brer Rabbit. Brer Rabbit said, well, I tell you what, Brer Wolf, we can go over to Brer Terrapin's house, Brer Terrapin the turtle, and Brer Terrapin can decide that. So Wolf agreed. Now let me tell you why they went over to Brer Terrapin's house, because Brer Terrapin was the oldest inhabitant in this forest. He had heard a lot and seen a plenty. And in his day, he was a community advocate himself, while Brer Terrapin was the original founder of the Turtle Brigades. And they were all about peace and social justice. So they went on over to Brer Terrapin's house. They knocked on the door. They heard a little shuffling. They waited about 5, 6, 7 minutes. Brer Terrapin came to the door. Opened the door slowly. There stood Brer Terrapin. He had been chilling, obviously, because he had on his robe and pajamas and slippers and his newspaper under his arm. And he looked over his glasses and said, "Morning, what can I do for you too?" And so Brer Wolf started in first, telling that story. Then Brer Rabbit jumped in, and Brer Wolf started again. And Brer Rabbit, hold it, Brer Terrapin said. I can't decide. I think I'm gonna have to visit the scene of the situation. So he slammed the door right in his face. And then heard some shuffling, 10 minutes, 10 more minutes, 30 minutes. Fine, here comes Brer Terrapin again. He opened the door, and there he stood immaculate in a red vest, derby hat, and a gold-tipped cane. So down the road they went. Now Brer Terrapin was moving just a little too slowly for Brer Rabbit and Brer Wolf. They wanted this, resolve. So they picked him up and they carried him down the road. And as soon as they got to where they left, they put him down very gently. Brer Terrapin said, "Is this where the dispute occurred?" And as soon as he said that, Brer Wolf went down into that gully. Brer Rabbit got on his hind legs, slid down like he was on some skis, and Brer Terrapin slowly started coming down. Brer Wolf looked up and said, Brer Terrapin, could you just turn over on your shell and just roll on down? And that's exactly what Brer Terrapin did. Got down there, dusted himself off, started to look around. First he just looked up. Then a huge rock. Then he went slowly back and forth, looking at it from all angles, up and down, scratched his head. Finally he said, "I'm afraid I can't figure out this situation until we reconstruct it." What you talking about? What you talking reconstruct? I mean that we gonna have to put everything back the way it was so I can estimate the situation. Well, Brer Rabbit agreed instantly. Brer Wolf wasn't too sure. But some kind of way they convinced Brer Wolf to lay down, and some kind of way molded and grown it, and with much ceremony put that rock back on Brer Wolf. He was wheezing. Hurry up, Brer Terrapin. Hurry up. Brer Terrapin, did you think Brer Terrapin hurried up? No, he moved back and forth, looking at all angles. He even looked up at the sun. One time he looked at his gold watch, took his glasses off and cleaned them. Finally, he took a calculator out of his vest pocket, calculated some stuff, put it back, and he said, "I have come to a decision. Brer Rabbit, you was in the wrong. Brer Wolf was just laying here minding his own business, and here you come along. And weren't you on your way somewhere?" Brer Rabbit said, yes, I was. "Well, Brer Rabbit, the thing for you to do is to continue on wherever you was going and stop minding folks' business. And we are going to leave Brer Wolf right here, minding his own business." Well, you didn't have to tell Brer Rabbit that. that because he got out there. He got back on the road again. Sing this song, well, I'm moving down the track with a pack on my back. I'm gonna make it out these woods if I can. Go on, Brad Rabbit. He stopped, slow down for a minute, and he thought he heard another voice behind him. There's a rabbit in that log, and I ain't got no rabbit dog. Lord, I hate to see that rabbit get away. I see you, Brad